All right, founder Paul Brown was the first head coach and founder of both the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. In his honor, I'll be wearing his trench coat today. Give Paul Brown a thumbs up. We're going to be using point system, 1 point for the lower wide receiver four, and we progressively give more points as the positions get more important. Let's get started. All right, let's get looking at these matchups. Cincinnati versus Cleveland. You got Jamar Chase versus Jerry Jeudy. Chase Brown and this Judkins rookie brought in. And how about Joe Burrow and Joe Flacco? I guess he's the presumed starter in Cleveland. But let's get started way down here at the bottom with wide receiver number 4, and that's Jermaine Burton. Jermaine Burton, 149th overall last year at wide receiver, only 107 yards. Been a disappointment. He's missed meetings, practices, a road trip, and possibly his NFL chance coming in as a third-round rookie. Hey, DeAndre Carter is first to sign. What finished 166th at wide receiver, only 72 yards last year, but special teamer. He's brought into special teams, but Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong can do the job too. So we don't know. Hey, he was the first to sign, like we said, free agency. So he'll probably end up being their special teamer. And but we're going to give the heads up to this Burton just because of the promise. You know, he was a 80th pick overall, third round. Hey, finally, Zach Taylor says he's doing a better job this offseason. We'll see, but the promise there lies with him. So we'll put him with the first points, and Bengals get on the board. We're moving to the backup quarterback, Jake Browning. All right. No yard, didn't get to play last year, but in 2023, he completed 70% of his passes, almost 2,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, had good numbers while he was in there when Joe Burrow was hurt in 2023 up against Sanders. Shador Sanders, hey, it's having a little trouble with the law lately. It's been speeding tickets. So many of those youngsters do that, you know. So, but hey, most talked about fifth rounder in NFL history, possibly. And will he get his chance? So, hey, you know, fifth rounder, bring him in. I'm going to give the point there with the unsettled quarterback, Joe Flacco. I got him starting out as a starter probably if they go with the best option to win games early. All right, moving on. We're going to go to running back 3. How about Samaje Perine for Cincinnati? He brought back, right? He finished 60th overall. He was in Denver last year, had 92. Hey, can he fend off, though, this Tajay Brooks for the number 3 spot? All right, so they just brought him back. They're not going to cut him or anything. He'll be on the team, but maybe that Brooks. How about Dylan Sampson for Cleveland? Kind of a steal late in the draft, bringing him in. Hey, he had at Tennessee coming off a 1,500-yard, 22 touchdowns. I mean, he's got the pedigree here for in college. So it's just a matter of that depth chart. Right now, I have him third, behind Jerome Ford and Judkins, of course. So, man, with Cleveland a little unsettled, the chance of one of these guys firing is going to be the Sampson over Perine, who might even struggle to keep his number 3 job. Cleveland takes an early 2-1 lead. Moving on to running back number 2, we got Zach Moss. All right, Zach Moss, 54th overall, 7.6 a game. Right, that little misleading. Hey, during the first 4 games, right, he was on the field for 70% of their plays. Then an ankle injury, then a neck injury, undid all that. So Chase Brown took over after that. That's up against Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford, 37th overall, ended up being Cleveland's de facto running back last year. Averaged 5.4 yards a carry on just 104 carries. Shared a lot of time last year. So same here. If you're just looking for one, Cleveland's got 2 exciting rookies here that I just don't think it's going to leave a lot of time for Jerome Ford. All right. Even though he did great last year. You look at But if you go to the fantasy average, it looks like Zach Moss, while the games he was playing, was getting a few more. And Cincinnati has a little better scoring team. Neither of them are ranked and by the consensus. So I'm going to go ahead and give Zach Moss the point. Tie, 2-2 tie. Moving on to, we're going to go to the running, or right, wide receiver 3. How about Andre Aceves? All right, 60th overall last year. Hey, 400, almost 500 yards, 6 touchdowns, big target near the goal line, right? He put on a little weight, gained 15 pounds so he can push off faster. Getting checked at the line. They all try to get a little advantage, getting pushed off. How about Deontay Johnson coming in for Cleveland? This is kind of a big question mark here. Finished 87th overall. Kind of quit on his team last year. Is clear favorite to win this. One reporter had him as the clear favorite to win the slot job, right? So the more Deontay Johnson gets, the more we don't know about Cedric Tillman, Jerry Jeudy. How much is he going to get here? So I don't know. It's kind of a close one here. I'll tell you what, with this possibility of that Burton firing, and of course, 2 all worlds above him, boy, you'd almost just take the randomness of this Deontay Johnson. I'm not grading this in port by who's the best player. It's who has the most opportunity at fantasy for next year. And we'll go with Deontay Johnson, giving the Browns back a 3-2 lead. Right? Next up, wide receiver number 2, T. Higgins. Right? Finished 16th overall last year. 911 yards, 10 touchdowns. Missed the first 2 games with a hamstring, and the 3 games in the middle with a quad injury, right? Well, the thing about it, he missed some games, but you look at that. See that fantasy average of 12.59? That was the second highest average last year. Only second to his teammate, Jamar Chase. And, of course, it's going up against some Tillman. Cedric Tillman finished 89th last year. Had 3 touchdowns. 74th pick overall. Unpredictable, cloudy, with Deontay Johnson. How much is he going to go? But you go with... Well, obviously, it's going to be T. Higgins. Can T. Higgins stay healthy? If he does, that's huge average there. So, take a look there. T. Higgins, that we'll get a little bit more points as you move up. So, T. Higgins brings him up to a 4-3 lead. Next, we move on to tight ends. Mike Gesicki comes in. 17th overall in tight ends. Had 665 yards, good yardage. But Joe Burrow rarely looks for him at the goal line. All right, and that's one of the problems there up against Njoku. All right, finished 11th, 7.6 a game, 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. Hey, off the charts athleticism. Had a Pro Bowl in 2023. Right? Well, you see that. Look at that. Just 2 touchdowns receiving for Gesicki. You can see, hey, at least Njoku got 5. So, and you can see the fantasy average here. One's got 4.6, one got 7.68. And Njoku could be their option number 2 in the receiving game. So we're going to go with David Njoku. Starting tight end brings them back to 6-4 with Cleveland winning. Late in the game, we got 3 top ones here, though. How about Jamar Chase? Right, Jamar Chase finished first, 16.2 fantasy average last year, 17 touchdowns, 1,700 yards. Hey, 16.2 per game average. That's 3 points higher than his 3-year average. Just a little warning there. Of course, we're going to pick him, but hey, he could come down from that monster year he had. 17 for Jeudy here, finish. 8.8 a game. Had that 1,229 yards, limited with just 4 touchdowns. 8th most targets last year at wideout. Right? Well, that's kind of important. You see, he finished 17th in fantasy, but on the 8th amount of touches. So that's not terribly inefficiency. Of course, they have only 4 touchdown passes that caused that. So where's he going to finish next year? Well, of course they got Jamar Chase finished ranked in the consensus as number 1. Jerry Jeudy's 23rd. Of course we're going to go with Jamar Chase. I'm just telling you though, and we'll do my rankings for wide receivers later. Make sure you're subscribed, and hey, give me a thumbs up while you're at it. Check that out later. But hey, wide receiver number 1s do not repeat, haven't for the last 20 years. So I don't know. We're going to have to check that out later when we're doing the wide receivers. How about Chase Brown? The number 1 running back for Cincinnati I have finished 13th overall last year. 12.69 a game up against Judkins, right? Excuse me. Rookie brought in. Been impressive in practice. Enters with a strong pedigree from Ohio State. You know, hey, they've got him ranked 21st. They've got Chase Brown ranked 10th. All right, Chase Brown 10th. Had a pretty good average last year. I think that's a little high. Let's see, he's got the position schedule 27th. And wow. It's close. I can't believe they're 10th and he's 21st. A similar, little easier schedule. I think he's going to be the focus. I'm going to go with Judkins. I mean, Jamar Chase, hey, it's kind of risky. You know, he's got good enough size, 5'9", 210 pounds. But you saw at the beginning of last season when Zach Moss was getting the most, the first 4 weeks was getting most of the games. Now, he took over the job, but I don't know. I'm going to go with Judkins. Just that promise. Right? And I've already got him as the number 1 running back, you know, and hey, part of that's they're going to be struggling to keep their game. So anyway, I'll go with Judkins, bring Cleveland to a 9-7 lead late. All right? But here's Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow finished 4th overall last year, 18.69. Right, almost 5,000 yards there, 43 touchdowns passing. Hey, can he get to the 5K? Join that 5,000 yards a season? Probably, good chance. You know, hey, Drew Brees club. Drew Brees, I think there's been 10, like 5, maybe less than 10, 5,000 yard passing. Drew Brees has got like 4 of them. But I got up against Joe Flacco, right? Joe Flacco, I presume he's going to be the starter. A lot of question at quarterback for Cleveland, right? Hey, 11.7 a game when he was in there last year, different team. 12 touchdown passes, a lot of experience. Now, here, Kevin Stefanski has a win percentage of 47.6, right? So that's, you know, he's below water, below 500. He needs to win to keep his job. I mean, hey, every year you're auditioning in the NFL. So that's why I'm leaning towards them starting Joe Flacco. Of course, he did good with the Browns a couple years back. So look at that 2023. You can see that standing out. That was with the Browns, that average he had during that. So just drew galore. So, of course, we're going with Joe Burrow. But I think Joe Flacco is going to be probably start through 4 games. And then they'll move on to the other people and maybe Pickett or go right to Sanders or the other Gabriel. But Joe Burrow, hey, yeah, he's number 1. So we're going to go with Joe Burrow. And that pushes the Bengals to the win, 11-9. So Cincinnati wins. And this is for fantasy. So let's take a look at this.